Chapter 3. What are we here to achieve? Without a goal in mind, even the most insightful and empowering business and sales training fails to have a purpose. In the sales game, the truth is we could keep playing the game over and over again, gathering light bulb moments on how to sell all along the way. But if we don't know what goal those insights are helping us kick, then all we're doing is going for a drive to a destination that doesn't exist. In a car that can't steer or indicate in any specific direction, stopping for lunch at a restaurant with no menu, and celebrating our achievement with non-alcoholic beer. And so, before we even begin playing the sales game, we ensure our players are 100% aware of the goals they're here to hit. They are split into 4 different areas of growth for understanding ourselves, others, the business world at large, and how to sell successfully within it. The first goal is to know ourselves. Before we can achieve anything extraordinary in this world, we need to have a well-grounded understanding of self. We are highly advantaged when we know our own strengths, can accept our own weaknesses, are conscious of our own motivators, and have the ability to remove what turns us off. The sales game shoves this knowledge in our face and forces us to confront it whether we like it or not. Some people are afraid of that. Others relish the opportunity to soak in the self-awareness like a sponge. If you're the one with the most chips at the end of the day, what does that say about you? If you were winning 10 minutes ago but have since lost all your chips, how does that reflect the roller coaster of your finances in the real world? Ready to truly know yourself, warts and all? The sales game literally can't help but give you that answer. If you're afraid of knowing the answer, then even that in itself gives an insight into why your sales numbers are being held back. The second goal is to back ourselves. When we realize that knowledge is only power when it's applied, we give ourselves the opportunity to take knowing ourselves to the level of backing ourselves. Not only do we know our motivators, but we're confident enough to ask for more of them. Not only are we aware of our weaknesses, but we're free to delegate them. Not only do we know our strengths, but we love to express ourselves through them. The sales game provides for the ultimate platform to do exactly that, in an environment that is made up by simulation. You get to scratch your knees in the room, but avoid the scars the second you walk out. Of course, you always have the option to continue to play it safe, a strategy which has its own set of consequences and results. The choice is always yours. The third goal is to know others. This is where things start to get interesting, especially if we're intrigued by what happens when people lose control. Because let's be honest, if there's one thing that's out of our control in this world, it's other people. Unless you're a skilled narcissist, at which point you'll have already failed at the next step to come. Because knowing ourselves and backing ourselves is within our own realm of psyche. It's, somewhat at least, within our control. It's much more graspable and malleable. But bringing other people's behavior, personalities, and stories into play, well, that just throws an incredible amount of unpredictability into the mix. However, the amount isn't so much that it can't be tamed to a functional or resourceful amount. And understanding as much of that as possible is the key to success here. To know others is to become aware of their strengths, their weaknesses, their motivators, and their turn-offs. And to be successful in this is to remain committed to the never-ending journey of understanding it on a deeper and deeper level. Knowing will never ever fully arrive at all knowing. Whilst playing the sales game, what is it you'll look for in others? How will you know whether your assumptions about them are spot on or miles off? And what will those assumptions cost or gain you as the game rolls on? The fourth and final goal is to back others. Once our knowledge of others has been sufficiently established, it's time to take the leap of faith and back them to achieve a result. That means quieting our ego and trusting they'll be able to get the job done without our hands needing to be on the wheel. That means giving them our chips to bet with at a different table. For some, that means doing the scariest thing they could possibly imagine, giving up control. Victory in the sales game depends not on our ability to do it all on our own. Of that you can be assured. It more depends on our ability to have faith in those around us, to trust they want the best for us, and to show we want the best for them. Upon hitting this final goal, the entire game opens up to us. And upon leaving the sales game training room at the end of the day, the same can be said of the world that has since become our oyster. If only we're willing to give up control and trust that one man's weakness is another man's strength. If only we're willing to drop the belief we need to do it all ourselves and trust that one woman's greatest fear is another woman's passion.
How to irrevocably shift to backing yourself always. If I somehow stumbled across a pack of Tim Tams with the magic genie inside, granting me 3 wishes, it would be to ensure all of mankind had 3 things permanently: clarity, confidence, and consistency. I believe they are the 3 things that lead to mastery in any chosen field, personally or professionally. They are to know the path forward, illuminated with the brightest lights, with the very best that Google Maps has to offer, showing you every turn in great detail in the most efficient and practical way. It is to approach everything with an inner, unshakable confidence that allows oneself to stare fear in the face and say, "Bring it on," as you bump shoulders and move past, shoving it to the side to feel sorry for itself. And finally, it's to have every action aligned to the path, firmly stuck on the tracks like a 50-carriage train loaded up with thousands of tons of rock. You can't help but consistently move forward. Momentum is the only option, and day by day you get closer to the destination. Wouldn't the world be an incredible place if the genie would grant these wishes? However, the reality is most are working from the opposite end of the spectrum. They have no idea where they are going in life. The waters are murky and the reflection is poor when they try to look at who they are. They fall mercy to fear, especially in those moments that really matter, and they say a lot of things that never bear fruit or come to fruition. In playing the game, I've noticed that wish number 2, having confidence, is the secret sauce. It is the hidden ingredient that unlocks new flavors and experiences for people, and best of all, it can be embraced if only one would be willing to try. So how? How can one build their confidence and find the way to backing yourself always? Well, I believe it comes down to a few complementing things. That permanence is a worthy pursuit. Legacy is an inspiring force for all, and at the end of the day, we all have nothing to lose. So let's briefly deep dive into each to make sense of how this is applied throughout the sales game. As you know by now, our vision for the game was to create a learning and training environment whereby the players couldn't help but be different people by the end of the game. It was through this permanence that the game took shape as we explored how positively transformative things were of the highest value in life and mostly were found through experience. An example? Skydiving. A positively transformative experience that left the diver a different person once they landed back firmly on the ground. Traveling to new countries and cities, soaking in the sights, food, and people is another. Another form of permanence is those creations that can live on longer than you. Building the business, the brand, the book, the painting, the photos, the board game, the film, the songs. Even those creations that aren't permanent in and of themselves, like floral arrangements and exquisite food, that are here today and gone tomorrow, can still be transformative in nature, leaving the person changed after either creating them or experiencing them. These are worthy of your pursuit. Now, the question becomes, why don't people embrace them? Put them out there, do them more, share them more. Well, to me, the answer is this. It comes down to the great enemy of confidence, and that is fear. Now, don't get me wrong, fear is a good thing. It allows us not to go and do things that will physically hurt us, like jumping from a building with no parachute. However, we still often fall victim to it with things that won't physically hurt us, like starting a conversation with a stranger. asking for an opportunity, releasing your creative works, dancing, trying something new, or being vulnerable with others. I'm sure you can empathize with all of what you've just heard. We've all been there, often, but you may also notice that none of what you've heard will physically hurt you. Well, yeah, I'm sure you could argue a sprained ankle during salsa or punch in the face when you say hello to a stranger, but come on, please. However, the fear still works out in the same way. It holds us captive, it keeps us still, and it helps us to remain in the shadows where a predator may not see us so easily. By playing the sales game, I've come to realize a hack of how you can win the game, and it's all about switching the rivalry you have with fear to one of friendship. Your fear is telling you exactly what to do at any given time. It is your compass pointing you in the direction to take, and it feeds itself on time. Every second you wait, it becomes stronger, and it doesn't want you to know that. So use your fear as a compass and starve it of time. Notice what you fear and move towards it. Move fast and act without hesitation. It won't even know that you've slipped past for a few moments, sometimes minutes, as it continues to gorge itself on the double cheeseburger of time. By this point, you will already be a few steps ahead, and as it is fat and lethargic, won't be able to catch you. An example is when you need to start the conversation with a stranger for a mutual win-win. Chips or real money, it doesn't matter. You see them and you know exactly what you must do. It's simple. Walk up to them and say, "Hey," followed by something else ending in a question mark. But there's a knot in your stomach that says, you're not ready yet, or that won't work. That is the precise moment you commit and start movement regardless. Another example is when you get to the point of the conversation with a buyer. Everything is lined up to move forward and do business together, but you know you need to talk money, followed by a, "How does that sound to you?" But your palms get sweaty, you hesitate and want an out by moving the conversation towards, "I'll send you an email." That is the precise moment you commit and start talking money. And as you run towards and past your fears, knowing it can never catch you, if only you commit quickly, your agility increases as its diminishes. This leaves you with an unfair advantage that can't be matched. This allows you to create at levels never before deemed possible. This paves a way for transformative experiences, not only for you, but those around you. And this means you leave this world with a banging legacy as others endeavor to be courageous like you. All it takes is for you to run like hell towards your fears and insecurities when everyone else runs away from them, learning more about yourself than you could have imagined. That's how you irrevocably shift to backing yourself always. That's how you win the sales game. That's how you win the game of life.
Essentially the last 2 days, or 2 days prior to this, my thoughts were I had no idea what was about to happen. I knew it was going to be good because these guys always put on amazing events, but the last 2 days really showed up, and the age-old adage of how you play games is how you play life. It came out in so many people in so many ways. It was really evident and really obvious, and it's funny how we play the same patterns over and over again. So this brought those patterns to the surface and allowed us to change those patterns and change it. So I thank the guys and the team for such an awesome 2 days.